There's Snipers227 here, and basically, today I'm going to show you what I've been working on for the past couple of months. As you know, I've been working on my own engine map editor, and this is what I have so far in my map editor. So when you open it, you're going to be welcome with three options. You can either open a map, you can either create a new map, or open one of the selected recent maps. So basically every time you open a map, it adds it into the recent maps part of this, and you could just open it. So if I select this and hit open selected, should open it. Just want to let you know that this is still very buggy, so don't worry about it. So we can see that I opened the map that I wanted to. Over here we have our render window, then over here we have our top view window. I'll explain those in a bit. This is the main one, and then this is, you could change the top view to several other views, and I'll show you that later. And basically this right here, the object list, is basically all the meshes or objects in the map currently. So every time you add a new mesh or object, it gets added into here. And the asset utility is basically, I don't know why palm tree is there twice. Basically what the asset to utility is basically if you use multiple or a mesh multiple times and very frequently. So let's say you use palm tree, for example. I use a palm tree, I have a tropical game maybe, I use a palm tree in my map a lot. Instead of having to create the palm tree from scratch each time, or having to load the palm tree file each time to add the palm tree into the scene, you could just select the object, and I'm just gonna, for a second, just gonna go and delete the palm trees out of there so I could show you that it works. So that's not right. Anyways, so actually I'm gonna use another object. Oh yeah, also I forgot to add this is drag and drop interface, which means that you could drag different formats. So if you made a map in like 3ds Max or Blender, you could drag it in there. So right now the drag and drop interface supports .object, I'm working on .fbx right now, .ace, .dae, .ply somewhere here. So 4 file formats. So say I wanted to add, say I used, I don't know why, but say I use the scarl a lot in my map, I'd drag it there. We see that the scarl has been added to the map. And then say I use the scarl multiple times in my map, I could just hit asset to utility, choose scarl, and the mesh name would be scarl, hit OK, and it might take a while because the scarl has a lot of vertices. So now it's just going to write to the file, and I'm just going to tamper with it because I noticed that it was messed up. There's only 4 meshes. Okay, so now every time you load the program up, that should be there. So your objects are saved forever until you delete them. So lately I've been adding features in, like I just added the welcome screen. Before it would just go straight to the map editor screen, which is the screen you're about to see in 2 seconds. It would just go straight to this, so that's why it might be a little buggy during this video, but you can see that the scarl is over there. All you have to do to add it into the scene now is you select scarl, go to assets, and then add asset to scene, and wait for it to render everything. And you will see that the scarl is not there. You dumb motherfucking thing. Actually, it might be there. The tree might be in the way. So now I'm going to show you the moving system, so you could scale, you could rotate and translate. Unfortunately, I don't have the interface for that. Oh, it's a palm tree. Unfortunately, you know what? Give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna delete this file because it's all messed up. Like I said, I've been working on things, so it's been really buggy. So basically, what I'm gonna do is I also put a smart add feature in, which means basically before the program would crash without that preloaded mesh file. But now I got it to automatically add one with no meshes, so you see there's no utilities. There's a palm tree. Let's say we want to add the palm tree there. We can do the same thing. Palm tree. Just gonna wait for it. And then the palm tree is added. And now we close it. Once we open up, the palm tree is going to be there, and then we could add it to the scene. This time it'll actually work because it's a new clean file. The other one was buggy, I don't know why. So I have my palm tree, and I want to add it to the scene because I use palm trees. I just click on it over here, go to Asset, Add to Scene. Wait for a while, palm tree's added. Now the reason you can't see it is because it is in the same place as the other one. So like I said, I'm going to show you a transformation so you could translate, and then you'd hit the plus and minus key to move it. So I'm translating X. Now say I wanted to put it there, but I wanted to make it smaller. So you could either scale X, Y, Z, but I usually just scale all, so you want to make the entire thing smaller. You set the plus and minus key. You see that it gets smaller. And now let's say we want to rotate a little. So we just want to change the angle of the top over here. We've got to rotate, choose angle, and then choose, let's say Y, I think. Yep. And then hit the plus and minus key to rotate it. And now let's say I want to work with this palm tree, the first one. Oh yeah, another system I've been working on, so this might not work, I'm warning you, is basically I don't use like selections. I haven't added that in like on-screen selection, so where you click it in most map editors and it selects a mesh. I do it by name. So what I've been trying to add in is basically I have a duplicate function that I'll show you in a bit. And every time you duplicate it, if it's the same name, it adds like a bracket and a 1 in, so they're not the same name. So I'm just going to test this out and see if this actually works, because they're the same name, so I'm not sure if it's going to work. So I'm going to hit translate X. Oh, it does. Anyways, so yep, I use selection. You have to select the object over here to actually transform it or whatever you want to do. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate it, show you a duplicate function. You can see that it's not working so well. It duplicates it, but the naming isn't going so well, so that's what I've been working on. So I duplicated the second one, which is the small one, and you can see that it came out well. Now let's say we want to, I don't know, scale it, make it this one a little bigger. You can do whatever you want. And then turn it off. Translate this one, this duplicated one. Oops, I forgot to turn the scale off. Anyways, so now let's say this is our really bad map, and we want to save it. We hit save. This pops up, and we're just gonna name this tropical.rmd. Save it. Give the map editor some time to save all that data. And yeah, like I said, sometimes it takes a while depending on how big the meshes are. These ones are 12,000 vertices each, so it probably just saved around 48,000 vertices. So now let's say yes. Okay, Visual Studios, that's cool. So say now we want to open that map up. I'm gonna quickly just run it. So I'm gonna hit open instead of new map. Now I'm going to open tropical.rmd. So I hope you guys had a good look at what it was or how the map looked, because we're gonna open it. It's gonna look exactly the same. So just wait for it to load all the data up, and there we go. Don't know what that happened. It's weird. Anyway, so you can see that it's loading just as is, as we left it off. You could still edit everything. You know. So scale and move that. Still mess with it. And what else did I want to show you? Oh, yep, there's different views. So we can change the wireframe mode. We could change it back to solid texture. I don't really have yet. And here's what I was talking about with the bugs. So wait for it to go. It's gonna crash. Oh, there we go. So it goes back to solid mode. And then over here you have object to CFM, which is the compressed map format. I'll explain that later. RMD to SMP and RMD to MMP. SMP is basically single player map and MMP is multiplayer map. So you could compile it to that. Right now it won't work because if I click it, you have to have a single player spawn, obviously. Multiplayer spawn, which we don't have. Haven't really got entities in yet, so what I'm going to do is just going to take those exceptions out so you can see that actually compiles the map. Let me just find it here. Should be at the top. Let's find it. What was that? Compile SMP. There we go. Oh, I missed it. Just gonna delete this for now. I'm not gonna run it. Oh, whoops. So now it's gonna bring us a welcome screen, and I'm gonna explain this. So make a new map. We'll call it test, or I don't know. Map. Select a folder. Desktop. Okay. And what this is here, I won't go through it, but it's gonna ask you for your game map folder. So when you have the game, you have to select the map folder, and the reason is when we compile the SMP, I'm gonna get it so that it places it in your folder. The game texture folder, it'll place all the map textures there too, and shader folder, if you have any shaders, puts in the game shader folder. Now we'll leave it blank, and I'll just quickly show you the SMP. So I'm just gonna add this to the scene and then compile an SMP. Just gonna tick that exception off so we have our palm tree. Boom. RMD to SMP. Give it some time. So now it's done. Go over here, go to test.smp. And then we have our SMP file. I'm planning on writing an importer for it. I only wrote an exporter for it, so after you're going to be able to open SMP files. But I was going to show you the back or the different views. I forgot to do that. Just going to minimize the tree. Say we wanted to create a wall. Let's make it 10 by 10 by 10 and add 0, 0, 0, 0. I'll make this x10. You could name it. If you don't, it'll automatically generate a name. So mesh number 2, so it's second mesh. We got our mini wall, and I'll show you the different views now. So view, Windows view, so we're on top. We could go to bottom. We could go to left. We could go to right. Go to front. And then we're at the back right now, so it should look the same. We go to back. Also, if you don't like the grid, you could always take the grid off. What else do I have? Oh yeah, just explain some of this. Dropbox configuration, this is feature stuff, so it'll automatically save or make a folder in your Dropbox. If you need the log, the configuration, like I told you. Different views, I think I went through everything. So the Snipers 227, and comment, rate, subscribe. I'll work on this some more, and yep.